Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Maryellen Bannenbrink. I'm a registered holistic nutritionist, and I'm really excited tonight to share our health and immunity seminar. And for those of you who don't know me, I was introduced to Neolife over 27 years ago. And at the time, I was a concerned mom. I had two boys, and my younger son had a lot of respiratory issues. And I was looking for something to, boost up his immunity. And, we were trying to eat right. And I tried supplements that didn't work. And I was pretty frustrated. Then, luckily, one day we had dinner at a coworker of my husband's, and she was always tired and sick. And when I saw her that day, I knew she was doing something different. And when I asked her what it was, she said, the only thing I'm doing different is taking these supplements from Neolife. And I'm like, well, what makes this different from everything else? And she said, all I know is made from whole food. It's been around since 1958, and I'm not sick and tired anymore. And I said, okay, get me some information. And I looked into the products, and I got my whole family started. And within 6 months, my younger son's health completely turned around. And just to clarify, these products don't diagnose, treat, or cure any disease, but it's amazing what the body can do when it has the right support. And my older son started focusing better in school, and myself, I got rid of the migraines I'd suffered from my whole life. And those four girls at the bottom, that's my four granddaughters. They're all Neolife babies, and none of them have ever been on antibiotics. And that's a real passion for me, like very, very healthy kids. So tonight, we're going to talk a lot about diet, because you are what you eat. And as you can see, reality is 75% of all chronic diseases are preventable. This was a quote from the US Surgeon General. And what are the keys to optimal health? Well, the basics, right? A good diet, weight management, and physical activity. We have to move our body. And in 2019, they upgraded the Canadian Food Guide. And as you can see, half your plate should be all those dark colored fruits and vegetables. A quarter should be good quality protein, and a quarter should be whole grains. And we're going to be talking a lot about whole grains tonight, because when I was introduced, I didn't understand our grains aren't what they used to be. And of course, we want to make water our drink of choice, because pure filtered water is important for everything in the body. It helps carry nutrients and oxygen to our cells. It helps us eliminate waste. It helps prevent muscle cramps. There's so many benefits to water. So now I'd like to introduce Shelley Sheridan to share how what we aren't eating and how it's killing us in a global study.
Thanks, Maryellen. Yes, this is such an important study. Over 20 years, they looked at 197 different countries. And because a lot of times we were focusing on what we do eat, and what this study showed was what we weren't eating is actually what was affecting our health. And what they found around the world was that we were missing whole grains, and we'll talk a lot about that tonight. Low in fruit, low in nuts and seeds, low in omega-3s, and low in vegetables. And all of those things are so important for our health. But here's the thing about whole grains. Whole grains are no longer whole. But what does that mean? I eat my bread, I have my rice, I have my pasta. What does it mean that it's no longer whole? Well, what they've actually done is, if you think back to way back to great grandma who used to make our bread, or here's some different, they would grinders, for just doing the stone ground and making our breads. What we'd have to do is they would make them, and they would only last a day or two, because there were grain oils in them that would go rancid. So this is the old-fashioned way. We don't have that anymore. They've actually been taking out our grain oils, and so that things can sit on the shelf longer. But those grain oils are so important for us. If you look at this chain of life, you have your proteins, your vitamins, your minerals, your enzymes, your carbohydrates. But up at the top, it says the lipids and sterols. They are also so important. How did we get TreeNN, and how did it come to Neolife? Well, we're going to give you a very brief history about this journey and why those lipids and sterols are so important. And this is something that really, really tweaked my interest, because as a teacher who taught nutrition for 32 years and phys ed, this was information that I didn't even know about. It wasn't in the curriculum. So we're going to also share why and when TreeNN, with those lipids and sterols, what it is and how it was developed and how it works. So important for our health. So in 1940s, people started getting sick. Oh, I'm so tired, they would say to the doctors all the time, but he didn't have a fix. And then it took a 3-year study with 1,400 people to find out what the clue was. So this was a government hospital study trying to figure out what was going on. Their immune systems were failing. Their adrenal glands were weak. They were lacking some of the key ingredients because that's what was removed from our wheat. That is what our cells need to work properly. And maybe Nada, you might want to add a little bit more into this, just because you've been, learning this information for over 30 years as well.
Well, Shelley, 30 years ago, I had adrenal gland exhaustion. I really struggled with fatigue, really bad PMS. My hormones were not balanced. And when I heard about these grain oils playing such a big role in adrenal support, this is what drew my attention to the company. And I knew I had to give these products a try. And with the study, yes, they tried 76 different supplements and nothing worked until the grain oils were put back into their diet. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, sorry, next slide. Sorry, Maryellen, you froze there for a second. There we go. Oh, so the rest of the story, I have to share with you that, when the lipids were added, that was the missing link. And what they did, they just extracted these essential oils from your wheat, rice, and soy that was added already to their healthy diet. Their hormone production increased. Sick patients got strong and well. Degenerative diseases gave way to restored energy and health. And Wally and his wife and Donald Pickett, they actually completed this study that was started in this hospital, and this is what they found. And then they developed in 1958 the first product that Neolife developed, and that was the birth of Neolife with this Tran grain oil concentrate. And that's the first nutrient that I was introduced to, and it made a huge difference in my energy, mental clarity, and I was so grateful for this product. I didn't know that I could have a menstrual cycle without having all those challenges that a lot of young women have. And well, Fred and Jeannie, I have to say, I had the privilege of meeting Jeannie and Fred. Jeannie Aldridge was bedridden with rheumatoid arthritis, and her husband, Fred, came home with a bottle of that Formula 4, which contained those grain oils, and he had to force her to take them. And it was the best thing he ever did, because in a very short time, Jeannie was pain-free. I remember her on the dance floor dancing. And what we're talking about doesn't cure a condition, but it's amazing how when you get proper nutrition entering the cells, how the cells just start to work properly. So what these grain oils do is nutrient utilization, getting the cells working properly, building up the adrenal function, right? Building all those hormones that you need to regulate stress. So many people are under stress. They can't handle stress. They can't deal with stress. These grain oils help with that as well. More energy, because all your cells are working like they should. That's all it is good, proper nutrition. And with this refining, we call it the great grain robbery. I mean, mass production, right? Longer shelf life, they can make more money. And then when they mill out the fiber, the outer layer, they mill out the precious oils and the germ, all the 22 important nutrients. So what's left? Starch, white flour, protein, and gluten, right? That people have difficulty now digesting. So the only way to get these grain oils into your diet is to eat fresh, non-rancid whole seeds and grains and nuts every single day. It takes about 550 calories of freshly ground whole grain a day to make 1 Tran. Okay, so the calories alone, if you were to consume that, would be crazy, whereas only 8.3 calories and 1 Tran grain concentrate. So yeah, I have to say that this product is just an easier way than getting those stone grinders out grinding all your wheat and grains. And when you look at other companies, Tran has been around since over 63 years, and other companies are using, things like the African potato. So Neolife has always stayed within the human food chain, and they use your wheat, rice, and soy. Again, all made from whole food. And Maryellen, when you're looking at supplementation, I know from a holistic nutritionist standpoint, I mean, there's other products and other companies out there. So what do people have to be aware of and look at when they're looking for a supplement?
Yeah, you're so right, Nata. It's so confusing. Like, as you can see, even like people think like the African potato, people don't actually eat that, so it's not whole food the way Neolife does their products. And a lot of people say to me, oh, if it's in a store, it's safe. But, the reality is just because it's in a store does not mean the product is been tested and gone through the criteria that it should. And in this study here, researchers found from 2007 to 2016, there was 776 products that were supposedly safe products, but they had hidden active ingredients that were unsafe or unstudied. So you have to really trust who you deal with. And that's why when I was introduced to Neolife, I did a lot of research, and the fact that it had been around since 1958, never had a dietary recall. They're in over 50 countries around the world. And, they're actually an industry and pioneer in the industry. And when people ask me, okay, what do I look for in a product? I say, the first thing you want to do is find out what it's made from, because you don't want to be eating that African potato, right? But a lot of products, even that say natural, can be petroleum or pine bark or ephedra, because anything from the ground is natural. But that's not the same as whole food. Because as Shelley shared in that study, what are we missing in our diets? We're missing whole grains, fruits and vegetables, wild salmon, and that's what Neolife makes their products from. And that's why when they get into the body, you get such great results. And they're all GMO free, which is so, so important. And when I looked at the science behind the products and the scientists that were involved, I was so impressed. Like, the Scientific Advisory Board was founded by Dr. Arthur First, one of the top toxicologists in the world. And he was actually the co-founder of oral chemotherapy. And when he was doing his research in cancer, he found nutrients in food prevent disease. And that's why he affiliated himself with Neolife in the 1970s. And he set up our prestigious Scientific Advisory Board, who are involved in the research and development of the products. Or just not a good-looking doctor who endorses the product. So it's very, very different. And I know even when I took my holistic nutrition course, I couldn't find anybody that had the science backup and the evidence-based research like Neolife does. And like they're published in peer-reviewed journals. The actual products are tested. A lot of times I'll see products and they just like they'll say, oh, raspberries are good for you, and they do this, but the actual product isn't tested to prove like that it can boost immunity or reduce inflammation, which is what we need to be healthy, right? And now I'd like to ask Shelley to come back. And would you like to share how Neolife has actually put the solution to this gap that we're missing in our diets?
Yes, Maryellen, and that's nice that when we do hear that there is an issue, that we have a solution. And so this is called Pro Vitality. It has 4 different supplements in it, and that green oval one at the beginning is the grain oil, the N that we've been talking about, which helps our cells work the way that they're supposed to. So that's your essential fatty acids, the lipids and sterols from whole grains, less gluten in a bowl of gluten-free cereal, developed from the hospital research study that we had talked about earlier, and it helps promote cellular energy and efficiency. So important for our cells. And this is how they work. If you look on the cell on the left, on the outside, it's not as malleable, so that the nutrients can't get in and turn into nutrition, and the toxins that are inside can't get out. So our cells, our 72 trillion cells that are in us, are just so sluggish, so we feel sluggish. On the right, when you see a healthy cell that has the grain oils and the outside that's nice and malleable, you can see how efficient that cell is with the nutrients going in and the waste going out. You have more energy. You have your hormones are balancing more. Great building blocks for your cell membrane, the brain and nervous function as well. So important to have those grain oils in our body. And there was a study at Texas A&M University, and it showed when you took the N that nutrient utilization or absorption went up 50%. That's huge. We want to know that the good foods that we're eating actually get into our body. So eat your fruits and vegetables because they're cancer prevention, it helps with the immune function, slows aging to prevent disease. They recommend 9 to 13 servings a day. That's what we say in the Canadian Food Guide. We tend to eat more sugary foods, more of those processed foods, more hors d'oeuvres. And so we don't always get all those fruits and vegetables that we need. So once again, here's a solution. The carotenoid complex is 80 pounds of raw fruits and vegetables when you have the 30 pack, which we'll show you a little bit later. It was tested by the USDA and CDC, the Center for Disease Control, to be proven to boost your immune system 37% in 20 days. Such good research that it was published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, presented at the New York Academy of Sciences. Just a really, really great product to boost your immune system. So let's look back at the cells again, because our cells need protection. Protection from the 10,000 hits of free radicals that it gets every day. So on the left, you can see if you're not eating those 9 to 13 servings a day, your cells are not protected and they're being hit and they're being damaged. And that's where you get aging, and that's where you get diseases, possible diseases happening. So we want to get fruits and vegetables in our diet. If you can't get enough, we need to fill the nutrition gap with the carotenoid complex to help to protect our cells. Oh, and then the omega-3, one of my favorite products for two reasons. I had a lot of joint pain. I used a product called Full Motion, which we'll mention a little bit later, which got me back running, which got me back being active again. But I had a lot of inflammation when I added the omega-3, the salmon oil plus. Within the year, I no longer wore my braces because they took down the inflammation. But those omega-3s also help with cardiovascular, that inflammatory balance that we'll expand on a little bit, your brain and the central nervous system, behavioral health and learning, immune health and healing, eye health and vision, maintaining flexible joints, cognitive health and aging. So important. And we want to make sure that if we're having the salmon, that it is a pure source, not just anything fishy, not just algae. We want healthy salmon dinner as if it was from the wild, the same thing. So here's the difference, the Neolife difference, is that the Omega Salmon Oil Plus has all 8 omega-3s. A lot of companies will have 2, your EPA and DHA. That's not an anti-inflammatory. The other thing that's so important is that Neolife's salmon oil is tested for over 200 contaminants with a 0 tolerance. We want to make sure we're not putting toxins into our body that's going to affect our health. So it's tested for over 200 contaminants, and once again, the science is backed, proven clinical trials to reduce inflammation 68% in 8 weeks. Incredible, incredible science. Also great for the cardio protection. It reduces triglycerides by 17%. It improves your omega-3, which is your anti-inflammatory, and your omega-6, which is your inflammatory. I'm getting them mixed up tonight. It improves that ratio by 43%. Just know that it works well and it gets the inflammation down. But this is so important on how it was endorsed to give to moms and to babies. So Nadia, I'll bring you back in because you have a lot, and same with you, Maryellen, knowing people who have taken it during pregnancy and how it helped with postpartum depression.
Yeah, omega-3, I know, Maryellen, something as a holistic nutritionist, is so important for mom and baby, and for mom to have enough during pregnancy, because they say baby takes most of the nutrients from mom and mom is left with very little. So that's why it's so important for mom to make sure she's getting enough of the right nutrients. And there's so many young moms that are struggling with postpartum shortly after they have their baby, and they're struggling with mental health, emotionally. They can't deal with the stress, and those omega-3s play such a big role, and so do the grain oils together. The lipids and the fish oil play such a big role in helping the body work better. And I remember, I guess this must be about maybe 10 years ago. I remember this mom, a friend of mine that I knew through the school board, called me, and her daughter had a baby, and she was young and she was really struggling with mental health, and she asked for help. And I said to her, let's get her just on a couple of the Neolife products and see what happens. And sure enough, we just got her on the Tran, the salmon oil, and the Neolife shake that you're going to hear about. And in 1 month, all her postpartum depression was gone. She couldn't believe the difference in how she felt mentally. So such a powerful, powerful, powerful nutrients to help to support hormones. So I'm going to actually ask Cindy. Cindy has a powerful testimony as well when it comes to postpartum with her daughter.
Thank you, Nada. Yes, it's that was part of Erin, and she still takes it today, salmon. But that was definitely part of her program while she was expecting. She's had 3 children, and I remember after her second child, we were just kind of sitting in her living room, and she said, "Mom," she says, does the salmon help with postpartum at all?" And I said, "Absolutely." And she said she was the only one of all her friends who never suffered with the postpartum. So yeah, definitely works.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So and inflammation, when you're looking at omega-3, it's the root cause of so many diseases, and, not just aches and pains and arthritis, but even cancer and, Alzheimer's, neurological disorders, autoimmune diseases, even type 2 diabetes. So this is so important from a prevention standpoint to make sure you're getting these good quality fish oils in your diet every day. And it's hard to do from just your diet and eating fish alone. So so definitely need to supplement. And to close off with this multi, Shelley, we add a multi, right? Is this why we call it a Cadillac of multis?
It certainly is, because it's just that lovely foundation of nutrition that is so important for our bodies. And the last supplement is the 21 micronutrients. It's the nutrients that our body can't make, that you have to get from food. So we put it in that little pack as well, along with phytoenzymes for easy digestion. So it's an amazing, all 4 of those together. There's 30 of those packs in a box. 4-in-1 Power Pack Nutrition with 12 pounds of those whole grains, 80 pounds of the raw fruits and vegetables, 10 servings of those omega-3 rich fish in a month's supply. And those nutrients are so important for abundant energy, natural genetic anti-aging, flexible, healthy joints, youthful skin, hair, and nails, heart health, immune strength, healthy brain function, clear vision, antioxidant protection, lifelong cellular health, because it's all about the cells and keeping them healthy.
Yeah, and maybe Leonie, would you be able to share your testimony at this time for us?
Sure, Maryellen, I'd love to. I can honestly say, well, 14 years ago, I was introduced to Neolife, and prior to that, I was taking, supplements from a different company. And although I got results, it wasn't the results that I wanted, and particularly, it was the energy, because I used to be on my couch every afternoon from exactly like clockwork, from 2 to 2:30 every afternoon. I had to have a nap, and I thought, oh my gosh, I'm getting old. I was in my 40s at the time, but then I was introduced to the Pro Vitality, and it was Nana who introduced me to that. And the difference was in my energy level. I mean, I can go like a freight train. I have this boundless energy, but it's good energy. And another thing is, I found that my immune system was strengthened, because if I do get a cold, I kick it in a day. Also, the other thing that I find is, I am getting older. I find that I'm aging gracefully, and many times I've come across this, like, people ask me how old I am, and they can't believe it. And the fact is, with that combination of the Pro Vitality, it's just amazing, because it does give all the things, all the support that we need. So it's a truly, a pack that's really powerful. Thank you.
Thank you, Leonie. That's great. And one of my passions is kids, because especially even right now, our kids are struggling so much. So many of them have problem concentrating, and it's amazing when you put that salmon oil. You think a lot of these issues are caused from brain inflammation, so you reduce that inflammation, and then you pair it with our baby vitamin, like the liquid vitamin. Or Liquivite is a baby liquid vitamin that they take until they can chew. This is what my granddaughter started with. Right from birth, they started on the Liquivite. And what makes it so different than a lot of the other products is it has those brain oils, those lipids and phytosterols that feed the baby cells. So it lets them grow up healthy, helps with heart development, with this, scholastic achievement. And then when they get older, they can chew the VitaSquares and VitaGuards, which fills, because kids get picky eaters. They certainly don't eat whole ground grains, and they won't eat 9 servings of fruits and vegetables a day. So this is a great way to keep them healthy. And I have so many moms whose kids used to be, sick all the time, and they'd go into secondary infection of ear infections. And then once they started on this, they might get a sniffle for a day, but they fight it off. And that's what you want our kids to be, super, super healthy. So this is a healthy start to an energy-filled day. So you put our Pro Vitality and you add it with our Neo Life Shake. Because you think, what do we want to eat for breakfast? Because I know before I didn't understand. I used to have, cereal and toast and bagels, which was all carbohydrate. And I wasn't getting protein in the morning. And why do we want to eat protein? Well, it helps us lose weight. It keeps our blood sugar in the glycemic zone, so our body burns fat and creates energy. And it's such a great way to start your day. And it's a perfect breakfast for the whole family. I know my granddaughters, from the time they could drink out of a sippy cup, they were drinking this. And what makes the Neo Life Shake different is it has all 22 amino acids. Not because people think protein's just used for building and repair of muscles and healthy tissue, but we need it to produce enzymes so we can break down our foods. We need it for antibodies, especially right now, to fight infection and disease. We need it to balance our hormones and for collagen in our skin. And I know this year the big hype product is collagen shakes, right? This is everyone's asking me. But you think about it, if you have all 22 amino acids, your body's going to make all the collagen it needs. Just swallowing collagen, the body doesn't know what to do with it. Like, especially when you look at some of the sources of this collagen, it's not something that most people want to be eating. And of course, the Neo Life Shakes help control blood sugar level. And what's inside? All natural, right? And it has a protein digestibility score, which is, they say a good one should be 1 or better. This is like 1.73, which means you absorb this protein. Because the problem with protein, if it's not broken down properly, it's toxic to the body, right? It has 18 grams per serving, branched chain amino acids, which protect our muscles, 5 grams of fiber, controls blood sugar, 25 vitamins and minerals, and all those whole food antioxidants. And it tastes amazing. You can see the flavors there. There's a berry, vanilla, chocolate. You can mix them together. And there's what's even more exciting is what's not inside this product. There's no artificial anything. Because I see so many products when people show me that have artificial sweeteners, they have preservatives. There's none of that. And you can see that was a picture of my granddaughters when they were younger. And there's Nora, barely walking, drinking out of her sippy cup, drinking her Neo Life Shake before she goes to daycare. And that the person at the home daycare used to say they were like the super kids. They never got sick. So the nice thing about the Neo Life Shake is too, you can use it 3 ways. You could use it to maintain weight. So to have a smoothie in the morning, you can lose it to gain weight if you take it with your food, because sometimes some kids need a little bit of extra help, or you can lose it to lose weight. So if you want to shrink, especially belly fat, that's a problem a lot of people are concerned with or struggling with their weight. For daily nutrition and weight management, we have an amazing weight loss program. And as you can see, you can use it a couple different ways. You start with a shake in the morning. Then we give you a mini meal list of lots of great healthy snacks, how to balance your protein and carbs and good fats. And then for lunch, you can either do a shake or you can do a healthy lunch, depending how aggressive you want to be with the weight loss. And then you have in the afternoon, you have another healthy snack. So there's a good example of some veggies and a piece of cheese or some hummus or strawberries and almonds. And then you have a balanced dinner. So it's a program you can follow and eat with your family. You don't have to do specific things. And again, the key is that glycemic control to keep that blood sugar steady. And it's great for diabetics too. I have a lot of clients whose blood sugar balances out. It prevents fat storage, promotes fat burning. It works amazing. And it was clinically proven to actually do these things for weight loss, 10% body fat reduction, heart protective, 15% reduction in LDL, the bad cholesterol. So it's an absolutely a win-win. And all this research was published in the American College of Nutrition. So it has really good science behind it. And this is Gabby. She's one of my customers. And when she was 30 years old, you can see she was very overweight, and her husband was 40, had diabetes uncontrolled, and actually passed away in his sleep. So she decided she wanted to take charge of her health. She had 3 small children. The youngest was 4 months at the time. And as you can see, she lost 34 pounds. But this, you think in 2016, well, look at Gabby today in 2021. She looks just as good because this is a lifestyle change. So it's something you can do very easily and still enjoy your life. And she helped her mom lose over 20 pounds in 5 months. And And her doctor, working with her doctor, she was able to get off her meds for diabetes, cholesterol, and reflux, and her joints feel better. And one of our largest losers was Carlos, who lost over 251 pounds in 26 months. And when I met Carlos, I said, Carlos, everyone is concerned to lose so much weight because you have to have surgery. And he says, I lost the fat, but not the muscle. Plus, he's so much healthier, and he's actually enjoying his life. And now I'd like to ask Joan, would you like to share your story with Neolife? Because you have a great story as well.
Sure. Thank you, Maryellen. Yeah. I was introduced to Neolife 26 years ago. At that time, I was working downtown Toronto as a registered nurse, juggling a stressful job, part-time job, and also taking care of 2 young kids. They were 4 and 10 at the time. And at that time as well, I had just finished treatments for breast cancer. And I was looking for something to boost my energy level and my immune system. I had always struggled with energy. I'd go to bed tired, wake up tired. And one thing I remembered was when my daughter was 5, I was doing evening shifts and I'd send her downstairs to have her own breakfast. So she'd have like cornflakes and milk, right? Poor mom, But anyway, so that sticks in my mind, So what I did was I was looking for something to boost my energy level and also my immune system. And that's when I met Maryellen. I met her at the jewelry party and she shared her son David's testimonial with me. And I figured if the products could help him, maybe they'll help me as well. And I saw a presentation similar to what you're seeing tonight, and it made a lot of sense to me. And I was drawn to the science behind the products. Being a registered nurse, we had to our practice had to be evidence-based. So anyway, I started on some of the products equivalent to the Pro Vitality, and within a few weeks, I felt a huge difference in my energy level. And I also dealt with stress better as well too. And my immune system got stronger. I didn't get sick as often, and if I did, it just lasted maybe for a day or so. And one of the big things that I didn't realize that it helped me with, I had severe allergies, seasonal allergies in spring and fall. And I used to use a lot of antihistamines as well too. And I have these itchy throat and eyes. And over the years, with a strong immune system and doing a lot of detoxes, I realized I didn't have them anymore. So I'm really grateful for that as well too. So, I'm so grateful to say that I'm a 29-year breast cancer thriver. And I feel better today in my 60s than in my 30s. Just like Leonie says, we're all aging. We all like to age gracefully. So thank you so much for allowing me to share my story.
Thank you, Joan. I always love hearing that story, and I'm so thankful that I shared it with you. Like you think if I hadn't said something, that's what I always kind of think of. And the foundation absolutely is what we call our breakfast pack, which is our Pro Vitality in the shake. And I always say to people, kind of start with that and see what it fixes. But if you do have some additional concerns, like let's say tummy troubles, we've got the aloe is wonderful for soothing, like with people with heartburn or reflux, or we have products that support the joints. So again, if you need extra assistance, you can ask the person who invited you tonight, and they can, advise if there's something additional that you may have a need for. But one product that I do want to really recommend, especially right now with, everything that's going on, is make sure that you have enough vitamin D in your system. Because we're in Canada, we've had hardly any sun, and even if we do, it's so freezing outside, we can't sit out. And most people are very low in vitamin D, and it is so important for immunity to keep your immune system strong. It actually protects, if you're exposed to a virus, it actually protects the first line of defense from the virus of getting in. And if the virus does get in, it causes your immune system to help neutralize it. So it's so important. And the Neolife vitamin D it's all plant-based. It's made from mushrooms and lichen. So reindeer lichen, which is like a plant. So it's a fabulous product, easy to absorb. And just I got my vitamin D levels tested with 25 hydroxy D. I recommend people do that. And mine was only 80. And my doctor said, that's still in that zone, but it's a little bit on the low. And I added 2 vegan D to my program and went back and got tested. And I'm like 110 now. So that shows the difference, so that shows that this product's absorbed, because a lot of times, you think you're taking a product, but it's not working, right? So this is super, super important. So now, Nada, would you like to share how people can get the products if they're interested tonight?
I'm so grateful that Neolife developed this wellness club. It's free to join. You automatically get a discount when you become a member, which is a 15% discount. And if you go on auto ship, which is a month's supply of whether it be Pro Vitality or that breakfast pack that we talked about, if you go on auto ship, you get 25% off, which is wholesale price of that breakfast pack. So it's convenient delivery. You get all your shipping back in 6 months for being a loyal customer. And then there's a way to get those products for free just by referring 3 people. And my customers love this, Maryellen, because when they get on that breakfast pack and they notice a difference and they share it with 3 of their friends or family members, their pack is free the next month and every month after that. So it's a great way for people to get their products for free. So again, my customers love getting their shipping back and they love getting the products for free. So just a great opportunity for people. And I always recommend just try the product, see how you feel, see what it does. And once you start to share, a great way to get your products for free is to share and help 3 other people in your life. So these are the breakfasts. This is the breakfast pack, which is the most popular pack. They're the best seller. And there's a vitality pack. If you're looking for just a good multi-pack, it's a great place to start. And that bottom pack there is our weight loss pack. It's called the Shape Up pack. And that's when you're doing 2 protein shakes a day to do that weight loss program that Maryellen talked about. So yeah, so these are the different health packs. And for those of you that are curious a little bit more about some of the stories and the testimonials, this is a group. There's over 8,000 members. We can invite you to this group once we're Facebook friends or the person that invited you. The stories that are shared in this group are absolutely incredible. So yeah, this way you can learn a little bit more about the power of good nutrition and how it can transform your life. So great Facebook group. And then there's one more option. When I looked at this opportunity over 30 years ago, I was a police officer, not looking for a business opportunity. I just wanted better health for myself, for my family. But if you are someone really enjoys helping others, there is a great business opportunity. And we're going to, at the end of the presentation, we're going to open up to questions and answers for any health questions that you may have. Then we're going to pause and then open it up to questions on the business. And I'm going to do a separate 5-minute little presentation on the business opportunity for those of you that are curious about the business. So again, if you're just looking at joining to use the products, get them wholesale price, become a member, try the products, and I promise you they'll impact your life forever. So thank you so much for joining us. And thank you, Maryellen and Shelley. Thank you. Thanks for coming back and joining us for the second portion of our health talk. When I looked at the products over 30 years ago, many of you know I was a police officer and I wasn't looking for a business opportunity. But let me tell you, I wasn't happy. It wasn't something I knew I wanted to do for the rest of my life. I wanted a tax break at the end of the year because, oh my goodness, half my check was gone to the government. And I thought, oh, what else could I do? And I didn't understand the importance of having a home-based business. And I was so grateful that we did. It made a huge difference. And then I saw this as an avenue where I could leave my job. I wanted time freedom. So Neolife, a little bit about the company. I mean, it's been around since 1958, like over almost 63 years in business, in over 50 countries worldwide. And when I first saw that 50 countries, I didn't understand the scope of the possibilities on what can happen. And my business, just by word of mouth, has expanded into Africa, like Tanzania and Cape Town, and gone into Australia. Oh my goodness, I have to think now, all over the United States, France. So it's kind of cool how just by, people here sharing their stories in these other countries, how you can build an international business without even going to any of these locations. But one thing I want to share with you are the core values that Neolife has and the mission they have. Absolute integrity is number one. They will not, make the products, down to a cheaper price. It's always the best quality, and that's why the products work. Okay, products that work is also really, really important. People are number one. I have to share that is so, so important. Equal opportunity for all, and they have a long range vision. So when you're looking at all of these values, it's really the core of an incredible business opportunity. I'm so grateful to be part of this amazing business. And I have to share that, you're in business for yourself, but not by yourself. I didn't think I could do this business. I didn't understand the industry, right? I didn't understand what PV and BV meant and all those terms, but I had support. And the company supplies everything, the products, the finances, they put all their money into their marketing. They do it all for you, all the tools, the website, the app, the IT is all done for you. The ordering is done online. The company handles all the distribution, the literature and sales aids. And all you have to do is use the products, share the products, and share the opportunity. So it's a very, very, very simple business. And something that comes along after this is personal development. Those are your 3 daily success habits. That's all it takes is to build a successful business. And just to give you a little bit of an idea on how the income works, we talk about becoming a member. And then when you introduce 3 club members and you get their health pack free, so your 3 customers share with 3 and now they get their pack free. And then you find 3 people like you that need a little extra money and help them do the same. This is what it looks like to earn about just over $1,000 a month part-time, okay? And this doesn't interfere with what you're presently doing. And then you simply have 5 people do the same. You can start making a 6-figure income. I didn't see this when I first started my business, but as I started to help 3 and they help 3, and then I help my family and the business started to grow, I saw that 6-figure income. And where can you start a business? For as little as $98 Canadian or 75 US. Okay, that's all it is. And they give you a bottle of that Tran grain concentrate for free. Okay, that's what Mary Felix was saying. I got my bottle of Tran because she'd be upgraded to become a promoter, and she got this extra bottle of Tran grain concentrate. So where can you start a business for as little as that and get free product as well? So the benefits are the same as a member, but you earn extra money. Now, for those of you that have the bigger picture and they're really looking at, building a business like what I did, where I want to leave my job and build something solid and a little faster, you can start with some inventory. And your total investment by paying the $98 with some inventory is around $800. And when you do this, it unlocks an incentive where you can start generating income faster. As you're introducing club members, people get started, the company pays you on that order. So it's called the first order bonus. So that's something we can explain to you when you make your decision. Again, you can start for as little as either 98 Canadian, 75 US, or you can start with a bit of an inventory. Whatever you feel comfortable doing, we will support and help you every step of the way. And if you want to know more about the business, there's an amazing Facebook group called The Ideal Business. So it's all on business. People share business testimonials, the stories. You'll hear their health transformation and how it developed into an incredible business opportunity. We can invite you to this Facebook group as well. So I want to thank you for joining us. The business has changed my life. I have the time freedom, able to leave my job, and many of us that are on the call here this evening were able to achieve their goals as well. So if you have any questions, we're going to stick around after we stop the recording and open it up to questions in regards to the business. So thank you so much for joining us tonight.